Good morning. It is the 2nd of June, and we are focusing on the second of the gifts of the Spirit that Paul mentions in 1 Corinthians 12. And that second gift is the utterance of knowledge. Knowledge is something that the modern world has decided can be safely divorced from God. Knowledge is something that we can use to our own amazement, to our own amusement, to our own enrichment, to our own empowerment. Two examples. Knowledge of viruses. Very effective if you're trying to treat people with illness. But to acquire knowledge by finding a bat in a cave and taking that bat to a lab outside of Wuhan, and then either using the natural virus or an enhanced version of that natural virus. The Australians are not convinced that it's all natural. And then somehow letting that virus escape, and well, you know the story as well as I do. It's wreaked devastation across the world, destruction of lives, destruction of the economies of many nations, certainly destruction of international relationships. How's that knowledge apart from God working for us there? Or another example with the coming out party of the aggrieved and the violent and the looters. We found that there's been a big surge of police scanners purchased. What would one do with a police scanner in the midst of all of this? Why, you would acquire the knowledge of where the police are and where they are not, where the police are defending and where they are standing down, and it's become a pattern, and where the police are not likely to interfere with whatever nefarious activities you plan. Knowledge apart from God. How's that working for us across the country today? The great tradition of the Christian faith has always operated on the assumption that to know God and know God's will properly, one must know Jesus Christ. He is, as the Gospel of John puts it, the only Son, the one who is in the bosom of the Father, the one who makes God known to us. It's John chapter 1. And the Christian faith has further assumed that if you would know any of God's creation aright, it must be known in light of who God is and what God wants. If you would know any other person aright, you must know that other person in terms of who God is and what God wants. If you would know yourself aright, you must be able to see yourself and your destiny in terms of who God is and what God wants. And it's surely easy to see that as Paul mentions utterance of knowledge in 1 Corinthians 12 as a gift of the Spirit, he is not speaking of knowledge for knowledge's sake or knowledge for the ability to predict and control the grand agenda of science. He is talking about knowledge as seen in light of who God is and what God wants and what God desires for his creation. The utterance of that kind of knowledge is a gift of the Spirit. Have a great day.